If you're 50 or older, get screened. I don't have my mother anymore, so please, do everything that you can to stay around for yourself and for your family. Screening saves lives.
A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This is the story of Mrs. Clark, who has lived on this very block most of her 80 years, often seen walking to town or serving brownies to the neighborhood kids, and everyone loves her. 2 years ago, a certain family member moved in to look after Mrs. Clark, and that's when everything changed. Mrs. Clark became the victim of elder abuse.
Elder abuse is often closer to home than you think or want to believe. McGruff, the crime dog here. The National Crime Prevention Council wants you to know the signs of elder abuse. Bruises, isolation, reduced activities, poor hygiene, depression, and financial problems. Protect yourself and speak out if you recognize signs of abuse in others.
Elder abuse is a crime that affects over 2 million senior citizens every year. Even more astounding, it's most commonly committed by a family member or someone they trusted. If you suspect abuse, contact your local law enforcement agency. To learn more, go to ncpc.org/seniors. That's ncpc.org/seniors. A message from the National Crime Prevention Council and the U.S. Department of Justice.
I'm in almost every school bus and classroom. I go to school with your children.
We say the Pledge of Allegiance together.
You see me around the neighborhood and you tell me that I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm one out of every 5 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger.
This problem is closer than you think. My teacher tells me we can grow up to be whatever we want.
I want to grow up to be someone who doesn't go to bed hungry.
There's enough food in this country to feed everybody.
Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help.
Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for kids like me, quietly struggling with hunger.
Together, we are Feeding America, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Talk 1470, WWNN Pompano Beach, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
AM 1470, WNN, with more of what you need to know. Get all the latest on health with caller health questions and comments, breaking health news, the health alternative, outrage, and mystery of the week. Dr. Bob Martin Show, Sundays at 10 a.m.
If you suffer from excruciating back pain, do not have surgery. Call Dr. Fernando Ranella, MD, and ask him about the new ozone therapy and how it can eliminate your back pain once and for all. End your suffering today. Call Dr. Fernando Ranella, the Center for Back Pain Management, 561-819-6325. That's 561-819-6325 or injectpainaway.com.
A bad back, heartburn, low libido, stiff joints, not sleeping well, got allergies, need to lose weight? If you want to feel better, please tune into my Health Talk show, Sunday mornings at 10, the Dr. Bob Martin Show, on Talk 1470 WNN.
Talk health. Talk wealth. Talk politics. Talk 1470 WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show, the place to fine-tune your swing, dress for the course, club, or cruise, and get tips on the best places to play and stay at the right price. Vacation or staycation, host Dan Schub, along with his expert co-hosts and guests, will tell you where to go. To play golf and vacation, that is. Now, here's Dan.
Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show. I'm your host, Dan Schub, and tonight, like we typically do around this time, we're going to talk a little golf. We're going to talk some travel. We've got exciting show lined up for you tonight. We've got a bunch of good guests. Last week I was off traveling on my own, and unfortunately we couldn't do the show because I had an event up in the South Carolina area, and I promised that I would kind of fill everybody in. But rather than me doing all the talking, I figured I would just bring some expert guests from some of the locations that I visited to talk about it. So that's what we'll be talking about a little bit later in the show. But earlier in the show, we're going to be bringing back a guest who we've had on the show before, and it's that time of year where we like to talk to Rick Limpert, and he's the technology products writer for Yahoo.com. He gets to evaluate all these really cool things that come by his way. And I thought that this time of year with Black Friday just around the corner, we would talk a little bit about that and some of his recommendations for folks who like to travel or folks who like to play golf and maybe aren't so easy to buy things for. They kind of have everything. So when you go to Rick, you're going to find out what the hottest and the newest, the latest stuff is. So I figured that would be perfect for this week's show. But then a little bit later in the show, we will be speaking with Jeff Mitten, and I had a chance to meet Jeff while I was staying at Wild Dunes Resort. He's the director of golf there, and they just reopened their links golf course. Tom Fazio design, as a matter of fact, the first Tom Fazio design, and they've recently invested a lot in rebuilding it and just opened it, and I had a chance to play it, and it was just a lovely, lovely weekend, and the course is in beautiful condition right there on the ocean. And I figured that rather than just hearing me talk about my poor game on this beautiful golf course, we would find out a little bit more about what went into it and what it's all about and how you all can go experience it as well. But while I was up there in the area, I made a quick stop in the historic downtown Charleston area, which is a favorite place of mine and a favorite place of many different people who take a lot of polls. They consistently rank up there. And since Wild Dunes is so close, I thought I'd have one of these beachfront, oceanfront slash historical city combo, I guess a hybrid vacation, and had a chance to stay at a place called the King's Courtyard Inn, which is part of a group called the Charming Inns in the Charleston area, and we'll be talking with Rick Widman. He's the president of the group. He's the founder of the group, and it's an interesting story how you kind of start out with one little historic inn, and before you know it, you got a bunch of them, and I'd like to hear a little bit more about it, and I'm sure all of you would as well. Amongst all of that, I'm going to try and squeeze in a travel story or some news for you, and I do have a couple of my deals, and we may get to them right at the top of the show here, or we'll see if we could squeeze it in at the back end of the show. But first, I did want to talk a little bit about some of the news. I've been speaking at great length the last several weeks and months about some deals to places in the world where airfare is low and the dollar is strong, and it's good opportunities to go visit. And I did want to mention that, I've been talking about Europe. We've spoken about France, and I'd like to send my condolences to the people of France, obviously, for the tragedy that they recently experienced. And sadly, of course, this is going to affect travel. It's going to affect travel everywhere in the world. It's certainly going to affect travel in France itself. And I'm sorry to hear that. I hope that people will continue to travel and support tourism. These areas such as Paris and other parts of France, as well as throughout Europe, they do depend upon it. And I know that some of us have some fears, but hopefully that will subside and the governments will step up security. And we can continue to travel to some of these lovely places and take advantage of these great deals that are out there. But I did also want to remind everybody, as we're heading into the holiday season, that the airports are going to be more crowded than they typically are during the rest of the year. And, of course, security is probably going to be a little bit tighter. And I did want to remind everybody that, you might want to get to the airport just a little bit earlier than you had originally planned. Starting out a vacation, standing online, worrying that you're going to miss your flight or running for a flight. Back in the day, I've literally run down tarmacs to catch planes. And, those days are behind me. I really want to start out in a positive, upbeat mood. And you never know if the lines are going to be long or they're going to be short. So if they're short and you're fortunate and you got there a little too early, well, get yourself a cup of coffee or a cocktail and just relax and get ready for your trip, as opposed to the stress that you might bring upon yourself if you don't leave enough time. So that would be a tip from me. Also in the news, another thing that I talk about frequently are hotels and different chains of hotels that perhaps are my favorite. And what the market is like out there as far as occupancy rates and the effect that has on the cost that you're going to be spending for a hotel room. And for better or worse, with my travels, especially my business travels with my day job, I do often stay in some of the chains, and chains are not what they used to be. The different companies that own chains own many, many different chains at many different levels. And some of them are your run-of-the-mill franchise kind of experiences where, wherever you go, you kind of know what to expect, and that's okay. You like that. But there are even boutique-y kinds of brands within these giant hotel companies now, too. And, things like I've stayed at places like Le Méridien or a W or a St. Regis or a JW Marriott, different kind of niches within these bigger brands. And in the past week or so, there has been some rumors, but it finally got finalized that Marriott company decided to purchase Starwood, which makes the largest hotel chain of all now. It was more than $12 billion that Marriott is going to be paying. And what that does is it just makes them a giant, and it gives them the ability to combine their rewards programs, and both of them had good ones. So it seems to me that there's going to be some more opportunity, and consolidation often worries folks like myself or the federal government, because if there's less competitors out there, then sometimes prices go up. But there are different kinds of options, and these hotel chains, companies like Airbnb, or I like to use HomeAway, which these are places that rent people's homes and vacation homes and condos, and they're good alternatives sometimes to regular hotel rooms. So there are other options that have developed in the market that have caused companies like Marriott to have to kind of change to compete and perhaps get bigger and stronger. And I have stayed, like I said, at Starwood Properties, and I've had some good experiences at some of their properties. And lately, I've also had some good experience at Marriott. As a matter of fact, talking about different brands within the group, I've recently stayed at the Gaylord, and I spoke about that. And that's a brand within Marriott that they do a tremendous job from place to place. They do have the consistency, yet they still treat you, despite being huge, like a person. They really work hard to keep that personalized experience. So, being a rewards member of Marriott, I carry their credit card, which also helps me get more points, which I can use. And again, using points judiciously can really come in handy, not to mention the perks that they provide you with the kind of treatment and not waiting on long lines sometimes, and getting special services like free internet as opposed to being charged a daily fee for it, things like that. So I have a funny feeling that I'm going to be spending a little bit more time with Marriott as this deal consummates, and they kind of take over all these additional properties, and I'm looking forward to it, and I hope that it does not affect the ability for me to continue to find deals for all of you, because that's the kind of thing that I like to do. And speaking of which, maybe what I'll do is I'll throw a deal or two out there, because like I said, we do have 3 guests on the show tonight, and we may get a little bit cramped for time, so I don't want to miss this opportunity to throw a few things out there for you. Here's one that's caught my eye. It's relatively local, so for the folks around here, it's good for like a staycation or a little weekend getaway, or for folks who live down here and have friends and family that want to come visit but would rather them perhaps stay somewhere else, or for any of you who do listen via our streams or iHeartRadio or through our website and are from out of the area and want to come down. This is a good holiday deal in the Miami area, actually in Coral Gables, which is a very, very cool town with great shopping and good restaurants and entertainment to go see. And for as little as $139, including over the holidays, this deal I found on TravelZoo.com. And you can stay down there at the Hyatt Regency, which is a beautiful Mediterranean-inspired building. They've got nice dining. This includes complimentary breakfast for 2, and it also includes 2 free drinks. And you can upgrade to a deluxe room for only $20 more, so it's based obviously on 2 guests staying there. And it is available throughout the Thanksgiving, the end of this month, November. It is available December 17th through 25th, and there are a couple other dates that might have a slight upcharge, but I do believe that this is a good deal. Hyatt is nice down there. It's a great place to stay. So TravelZoo.com, this deal is good until December 2nd. You need to book it. So Don't wait. And come on down for the holidays and stay in Coral Gables. Fun place to stay. The Biltmore Hotel is a great golf course to play right in the area as well, and they can arrange for that for you. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and in just a couple of minutes we'll be talking to my friend Rick Limpert, technology products writer for Yahoo.com, Examiner.com, also the author of the Fam Trip Field Guide. You won't want to miss it, so stay tuned for more of the Golf and Travel Show. We'll be right back. And we're back, and time for a message from our sponsor, Labor Finders. If your business needs industrial workers or if you're looking for work, you got to call Labor Finders. Labor Finders places temporary or temporary to hire for opportunities for skilled, semi-skilled, or general labor positions such as plumbers, electricians, concrete workers, forklift operators, office clerical workers, and so much more. Labor Finders has almost 200 offices nationwide. Near here in Boca Raton, they have offices in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Homestead, West Palm Beach, and Jupiter. So if you need legal, insured, hard workers, or if you want to work hard, call Labor Finders toll free at 800-864-7749. That's 800-864-7749, or visit laborfinders.com.
This one's for all you Beastie Boy fans who've been looking for Ricky's theme. I'm going to play it off of this record.
All right. Well, that's not exactly the song that I had hoped to hear, but it probably was a good one that I wanted to play. But we'll do that another time. But instead, what we're going to do is we're going to find out exactly what it is that you need to do for the holidays. They come upon us way too quick. Black Friday is just around the corner, and I know that we all kind of procrastinate. But when you get expert advice, you can't lose. I did this last year, and I was a big winner with the folks in my office. So the guy who wrote the Fam Trip Field Guide also writes on technology products for Yahoo.com. You may see him on TV if you're in the Atlanta area. Also writes for the Examiner.com. Boy, is he a busy guy. None other than my good friend Rick Limpert. Rick, how you doing?
Hey, Dan, good to talk to you. And funny, because I missed you by 1 week at Wild Dunes there in Isle of Palms.
I was in some of your divots, I think.
Yeah, I was there not for a non-golf reason, but was there and played the course just like you did, and was very impressed, but came away with a lot of mosquito bites.
Yes. I wish we knew that in advance, but yeah, they don't like me that much, but some people they prefer, and I was playing with somebody who was getting eaten up too. But what a lovely golf course. What a great redesign, and it's always nice when you can play golf with a view of the ocean, huh?
Love those finishing holes, and it was definitely a treat, but also a big challenge. That's a big boy course there, or can be, so it was definitely fun. Yeah,
I thought so. And just when I think I'm playing a place that's like, a grand opening, I'll be one of the first people to play it, why is it that you're always there right before me?
I don't know, but I guess I was there for a non-golf reason. It was kind of an undercover type thing, but it was great to play. Sorry I missed you by about a week there, but great part of the country.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, when you go, this was an organized trip, and sometimes we're lucky that we find buddies like one another, and you just don't know who you're going to find. There were a couple of people on this trip that I did know, and we had a good time. So hopefully the next time we will cross paths and not miss each other. But this is a time of year where people they get really nervous. They get upset. There's a lot of stress. It's the holidays. The stores are crowded. There's got to be a better way, I figure. So my better way last year was to turn to you with some tips, and you helped me out tremendously, so I appreciate that. But, with Black Friday coming up, where can people find the deals or the information besides you, perhaps, that will help them not be so stressed out?
Yeah, well, they can follow my articles, of course, or that. But two websites that do a really good job with kind of cutting through the clutter of Black Friday and just putting out where the best deals are bfads.com and blackfridaydeals.com. Great advice for getting the best deals Black Friday and then all throughout the holiday shopping season. But they also cater to people that play sports like golfers. They talk about Dick's on there and other places where you get golf equipment and golf supplies. So that's a good place to start, and then your research and the hard work really begins.
Now, when I think of the stuff that you work with, it's, high tech and technology, but obviously there's a lot of products that you don't plug in or they don't work on batteries or solar or whatever, but there's still a lot of technology. So I know one of the first items you wanted to talk about was a golf ball, and obviously we go to the show in Orlando. Super amounts of technology go into products like golf balls to make them fly straighter and further. So what's the latest tip on golf balls?
Yeah, it seems kind of cliche, golf balls as a gift for a golfer. It's kind of a given, but they're really appreciated by golfers. I appreciate it when I get some. But the new title is DT True Softball. It was something that came into my possession, just came out, but I've had it for a couple months, and it's a soft golf ball, a soft interior, new core and cover. And I found that I was having a hard time keeping balls on the green. This was really I don't know if it was something I was doing with my swing, but these balls were sticking on the green and coming down softly for me, giving me at least a chance for a putt for maybe a par or a bogey or whatever. So, I've been playing on some of those harder core balls and where it maybe gives you a little bit more distance on the drive, but I thought that this ball was pretty good off the tee as well. So the DT True Soft Golf Ball Titleist, their new effort, it's pretty good. I kind of like it. So how long is it till they invent the golf balls that don't get lost? Yeah,
it's bad for business.
That's what those clubs with the extender on it are for, so you can dip down into the water to get them. So,
fight with the alligators.
That's coming anytime soon.
That's what I need, I think, the way my game is lately. But now also Jordan Spieth, he's been wearing some Under Armour eyewear. I actually tested a pair of them, but you've been doing the same, I'm sure?
Yeah, I mean, Under Armour's kind of new to the game when it comes to eyewear. But I've been pretty impressed. I had some of the prototype frames back early last year, and now they're going full bore with these new game day lenses. So not only for golfers, but softball players, baseball players are trying them because it really gives you a good view, a good clear view. The greens are greener, the blues are bluer. It just really enhances what you're looking at, the landscape you're looking at. And if the greens are greener, that means maybe you might be able to see those breaks a little better and maybe make a few putts. So they're onto something with these game day lenses. They go in pretty much any of their frames, but they're all pretty durable and pretty good, pretty comfortable frames. And I kind of like what Under Armour's doing with eyewear.
Yeah, I like them too. And not only have I been wearing them on the golf course, but for driving as well. And it's, I don't mean driving off the tee. I mean in my car. And I'm enjoying wearing them as well, and it's a good product. And I got to tell you, they do have the Midas touch with their marketing and their spokespeople. I mean, they pick them early and they win every time, it seems. I don't know how they're doing that.
Well, they're great with customer service. They're great. I mean, we're selfish. We're in the media. They're great with media relations. So that at least gives us, a look at their products and a fair shot at what we think of them. So they do, like you said, they do everything right. And it doesn't hurt when you have Jordan Spieth, as a walking billboard for you.
That's for sure. Now, Antigua, you wanted to talk about. I do have some of their short sleeve shirts, and they perform well. But now you have some long sleeve ones you'd like to talk about.
Yeah, here are the new long sleeve ones for 2016. Now, with it getting a little cooler in parts of the country, people have switched to long sleeve shirts. These shirts are great for that. But they're also great for when the sun's out. These shirts have a UPF ultraviolet protection in them, so people that are concerned about the sun and protecting themselves from the sun. This is like having extra sunblock on, wearing these long sleeve shirts on your arms, and no sun gets through. That's kind of the gimmick and kind of the reasoning behind these long sleeve shirts, and I think that's a good reason with a lot of people having that issue.
Yeah, obviously it's also good if there are mosquitoes, but here in Florida, especially when it's colder, sometimes we forget how strong the sun still is, and obviously wearing long sleeves is not my favorite thing to do in August when it's really hot here. But this time of year, you can wear long sleeves, and there's a lot less concerns with slopping on that sunscreen everywhere. You maybe only have to do your face, you don't have to bathe in it.
Yeah, they come in men's and women's versions, so both. They're solid colors, a flat knit collar, and that open cuff, which is comfortable. So the shirts breathe but protect you from the sun.
Yeah, they seem to have come a long way. I know that they're doing a lot with some of the more prominent stuff with the tour players and the tour events as well, Antigua. They've got quite a nice reputation, and kudos to them for that. All right, so now, we've spoken about products that, like I said, they don't plug in, they don't get recharged from the sun, yet they do have plenty of technology. Now we're going to get into something that does plug in. So what do you got?
Well, this is one of my favorite things of the year. I'm a big fan of Keurig coffee machines. Now Keurig has a cold drink machine out. It's called the Keurig Cold. It's now discounted down to $2.99 for Black Friday. Now this machine makes your name brand beverages, cold beverages, your Coca-Colas, your Sprites, your Dr. Peppers. Comes out in 8 ounces, real nicely in the machine, and it's fantastic. The machine works. I don't know how it works. I mean, even as a tech guy, they have some technology in this machine that carbonates water and puts the flavoring in and comes out cold. So it's great, but they also have sports drinks as well, and teas, and any kind of cold beverages can run through this machine. So I'm a big fan of Keurig. I'm even becoming a bigger fan now with this cold machine.
Well, I think the people that are going to be hurt by this the most is Starbucks. If you start drinking stuff at home that you can make, they're going to be crying.
I think that's an issue, but another great thing about these machines is when you buy a 2-liter bottle of a brand soda, there's a lot of waste involved. Very rarely do you finish off that bottle before it goes flat. Now you can kind of use the amounts that you're going to drink. This is great for limiting sugar intake, maybe for kids, and it's pretty cost effective too. So I like it on a lot of different fronts.
See, I'm not a big carbonated beverage drinker, but my wife is. She was always a big Diet Coke drinker. And she always preferred it coming out of a fountain. I mean, she does not want it in a can or a bottle. She wants to, make it fresh. And it seems that this might give her that opportunity to be able to do that same thing at home instead of having to run out to the convenience store.
Yep, this is like having a soda fountain or a cold drink fountain right in your home. Can't beat it.
Very cool. All right, now next we've got another electronic device. Why don't you tell us about this one?
Yeah, Zag is an accessory maker for smartphones and tablets. They have a big Black Friday sale, so I recommend everyone to check out Zag.com on Black Friday. But their Messenger Universal Keyboard will work with just about any device. So a lot of people are not bringing their laptops; they're bringing, their phones or their tablets, and then actually doing work on them. So you can use this Universal Keyboard with an iPhone or an Android phone or a tablet, and it's just real handy to bring along. I see more and more people using these at coffee shops, airports. And I'm sure you do too, Dan, as you travel.
Yeah, I went from carrying a laptop to carrying an iPad, and now I got the new larger iPhone 6s Plus, which is almost big enough that I can, with my eyes, I can actually see what I'm doing. So, it's amazing how we kind of morph, but and then you see people with the watch on, and it's like, and now they come out with that new iPad, the really big one. So I'm getting confused between the movements from large to small and back again. It's just all over the place, but that's why we need experts like you to kind of fill us in. It's constantly changing.
Yeah, and it's a universal keyboard, like I said, so for $70, it'll work with any device. You used to have to get specific keyboards for specific devices, not anymore with Zag, so this is pretty good deal.
Okay, so I think we're going to come full circle here and end with a product back at the golf area. And this, again, is not one that you plug in, but certainly technology goes into it. So what you got?
I don't know if you've tried this out yet or not, Dan, but Biomech, their AccuLock Ace putter, you see a couple of the guys on the tour trying it out and some people experimenting with it. But this is a new putter that, with the new putter rules, it's a little hazy. Some people are kind of freaked out by it. This locks into your arm, not into your belly, so it is legal. And it just really helps you keep a still putter through the backswing and then through the whole stroke. So it's I found it pretty good for lags. I'm working on it for actually sinking longer putts. But it's a lot of high tech into this technology into this putter. Engineers help develop it, and it's pretty cool. Once you get the hang of using it, it's hard to actually go back to a regular putter. So well, I don't know if you've tried it or not, but I kind of like it.
I have not. I do have the long putter, and I do get the yips without it, so I was actually going to continue to use it legally without anchoring it, and I'm still better off. So this sounds like it's right up my alley, something that I do need to try, so I thank you for that. You see, I learn, not only the listeners, but I learn a lot from you as well, so thank you. All right, well, we're almost out of time for the segment, so now is the time that you have an opportunity to remind everybody where they can find the things that you write about and perhaps also where they could pick up your book.
Yeah, sure, Dan. I write on Examiner.com, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, CBS Atlanta, other outlets pick it up like Yahoo and and other golf magazines, or just you can Google me or my website, ricklimpert.info. But yeah, the Fam Trip Field Guide, Dan, I know you like promoting it because you're actually in the book too.